taking someone who was a criminal liar and replacing them with someone who may be essentially the representative of an ethno-state at the same time that that is what the Republican Party is leading with around the country and in other places. Oh, by the way, also it seems like she and her husband don't like to pay rent because he worked. He's got a medical practice and has failed to pay about $70,000 in back rent. So, he likes to take in the money, but he doesn't like to spend it on agreements that he's made so much. I wouldn't be, sometimes that runs in the family, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. We'll see. But this is not looking good. And I think this is an opportunity for a pickup for the Democrats. So in a way, we should be thankful. Hopefully this means that the Democrats in New York who've had a little bit of a problem of late and who've bungled quite a few things when it comes to redistricting in and around New York City. Hopefully they can get back on top of things and contribute by picking up a couple of seats there in addition to other places, regain the House of Representatives come November. Yeah, in my opinion, we have to. We have to, please. Mm-hmm. I know. And I know the grievances with Biden and the way he's handling Israel and Gaza, but there has been a little bit of a shift in the White House's narrative, and it sounds like they are starting to listen to all of the protests that have been going on. In fact, the last couple of days there have been protests, which are not being covered on the mainstream, only in local news, and they're listening. So we're seeing a shift, but we have to vote in this election. Yeah. We have to, because I know it's kind of off topic, but no, please. We just found out about this binder that Trump had that had all of this raw data, intelligence data, which means the people who brought the intelligence people who brought the data to the government or to their respective people to have it passed and processed. We know that somebody brought the intelligence to Trump because he didn't have any of his own. He had this binder, and it had to do with the election in 2016 and Putin's involvement, which we all know. I mean, I don't know it for a fact. I'm pretty sure. Come on, we do. We know it for a fact that Russia helped him get elected in various ways. I like most people. I respect the laws of our country, and I want that tangible evidence to manifest. And it looks like this binder is one of those pieces. And considering that Jack Smith has decided to bypass some of Donnie Two Scoops BS and go directly to the Supreme Court, even knowing that all of those horrible conservative right wings are sitting there, but that's all we can do. And that trial, I know that what's going on in New York is really big with his company and the dissolution of that. But this trial with Jack Smith, the evidence, the documents, that is where we find out everything, folks. That is what we don't want delayed. And regardless of when it finishes, what comes out of it, and I know that it's slated to come out in 2024 while we're trying to decide if we want a country or not, a democracy or not. We want that information to start coming out of that trial, because it's important for people to understand what he was doing. And trust me, he learned his mistakes, and all his handlers have learned their mistakes too. So I mean, I hope things break the right way. And, given the predilection of the American legal system to favor, just structurally, in so many ways, the wealthy and the powerful, even when they've committed as many crimes as blatantly as Donald Trump has, I still got to worry about this, because it's entirely possible that it could be pushed. I mean, it's great to have all this be exposed, but how quickly is it going to happen? How quickly is action going to be taken in all these different cases? I think it's really important, and I think it's important, therefore, that in voting, we get to the polls in November of 2024, because the House of Representatives is going to be very important. And if, God forbid, Trump gets in somehow, having the House of Representatives be in Democratic hands is going to be very important as a bulwark, as a last redoubt against fascism. And I think I see that, frankly, as at this point, and I hope I'm wrong, as a surer thing than Trump not getting back into the White House. So that is really critical as well, and it will be important, even if there is a Democrat in office starting in 2025, to make sure that whatever shenanigans in the Senate, which looks to be, and I know I've said this before, turning towards the Republican side, that is stopped. So we need to make whatever advances that we can, because things are very much up in the air. And I've had a couple of different people describe what's coming up as being a potential sort of 1968 year, where a lot of different and strange and wild things could happen politically. And
just look at their documents. Project 2025. We've talked about this. I'm going to keep talking about it.
Please.
That's their document. I absolutely love people who study history and see patterns and talk about things, and experts in their fields talking about predictions. But when they tell you what they're going to, I listen to Maya Angelou. When someone tells you who they are, believe them the first time. Project 2025. Yeah. Look it up and read it. It's not that long.
I was actually reading an article that was focusing on a particular part of it about what they were going to do to health and human services. I was almost thinking of bringing it up as a topic, but let's talk about it now. Basically, if you're an LGBTQ plus person, you are going to get thoroughly screwed over by the federal government. If you want to, any efforts that you might have to access reproductive health are going to be stymied. And you want to talk about imposing a Christian nationalist ethnic state approach to the way that health care and services are provided in this country. That is very much where they're going to start. It's all going to be decided on by powerful white cishet Christian fascist men. And
this is any Republican. This isn't just for Trump. They have had enough. They've been planning this since the Council for National Policy in the 1980s, 1985. And they have had enough. So they are going to, if a Republicans get back in the White House, whenever they do, the next one, this is what they're going to implement in the first year. And it's martial law. And it's restructuring our health care to make people who don't conform to their standard of identity obsolete and unable to operate even at the base level of humanity. No jobs, no housing, no medical care. There's no protection against hate crimes.
Yeah. And to all the, I circle back to our first topic again, to all the Kate Coxes who believe that you're not going to be subject to this somehow, they're going to come for you eventually. Remember Cardinal Niemöller's poem.
Well, women are property in the Bible. So, don't think that they don't want us to go back into the kitchen. And remember, the reason why there were so many divorces in the 80s wasn't just the advent of irreconcilable differences in the late 70s. It was because women had nowhere to go. We were being beaten. Yeah. We were being abused, and no one would listen to us. And if you did flee, for example, this is a personal story. Not going to name any names, but a grand cousin of mine had to flee her husband. And my grandfather allowed her to live. He had a apartment complex, and he allowed her to live in one of the apartments. She was shunned. This was the 60s. Wow. She was treated like dirt. She couldn't get a place to live. Nobody would rent to her.
Yeah.
The people around treated her like garbage. She had a hard time getting a job.
Wow.
And so do we really want that reality, ladies? Absolutely not. My mother, when she got married, she could not open a bank account or get a mortgage or a car or a credit card.
Oh. Yeah.
Do we really want that?
No, we cannot go back there. And this is exactly what they're talking about. I'm going to talk about this more in depth in a separate episode, but I have to bring it up in this context because I was looking at Mother Jones, and there is an article whose title is a running list of politicians talking about making divorce harder. They want to go back to that era.
They want to get rid of irreconcilable differences. Yes.
Yeah, they want to. Here's like a politician, a state senator in Oklahoma named Dusty Devers. I want to see pornography abolished. I want to see no-fault divorce come back to at-fault divorce, and even public shaming for those who are at fault in divorce. I want to see abortion abolished. These are the kinds of morality and government issues that we need to get back to. This is one of several different folks, among them Vivek Ramaswamy, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, Senator J.D. Vance. This is a real, clear, and present danger. It's not just abortion. It's not just health care for LGBTQ plus folks. It is divorce. It is so fundamental. They will come for you. Do not think that you will be exempt. You will be on the spot. And this is not something that you can just pay money to make go away. This is serious.
It's not something that's so far off, ladies and gentlemen. When I had my last child at 33, I decided I'm done and I don't want to do this again. Mm-hmm. And I had to get permission from my husband at the time before they would sign off the papers. And this was a Catholic hospital chain. I won't name any names. My child is now 13. So it was 13 years ago. It's happening now in little ways, and we just brush it off. Yeah. And when that happened to me, I talked to other women, and I talked to my mother, and older and younger, and my age, and this was common. This is not uncommon for that to happen. Really? And the argument was up until, they were still trying to talk me out of it up until the C-section. I'm young. I know what I want. I know what my body needs. I know who I want to be, and I'm not the sum of my uterus. I am more than my ovaries.
That is so disgusting that they would come to you and be lobbying you at the same time that they're supposedly providing care to you.
Oh, we had to watch a video and do this little short kind of counseling thing and sign documents, and
that's the America they want to go back to.
They want the little bit of that America that still exists to go back to the extremes that they had in the 50s. The reason why they love that time. I posted something today about, Christmas Story and Christmas Vacation and Elf, and it tells a lot about who you are, which one you like. Christmas Story is set when the Boobers were kids. And so that's what they remember. And that's the world that they want to grow up in. They want to die in because that's the world they grew up in. Mm-hmm. And obviously we have come so far to understand that compassion and consideration of others, even if you don't agree with it, just makes the world a better place, for you and me, to quote Annie Lennox. It is just gross to me how close we are to where they want to be. And if we don't take elections seriously and participate in our election, because that's how it's set up. If you don't go out and vote, whoever gets the most votes win. If we don't go out and vote, the other guy gets the most votes because his guys are going out to vote. That's how we've gotten these Republicans. That's how we can get them out, guys.
I used to hear people talking about how they wanted to, repeal the Great Society or repeal the New Deal. And then they started talking about, it's even worse than that. They want to repeal the progressive era. And then people started, they actually want to repeal the 20th century. They want to repeal the Enlightenment. They want to go back to, medieval times. Medieval times is not just a fun, goofy